my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
So just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now, but it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop.
The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave.
Come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite.
Now, there's one thing you might have noticed I don't complain about. Politicians.
Governments don't live together, people live together. Governments, you don't always get a fair word or a fair fight. Well, I've come here to give you either one, or get either one from you.
That is totally taken out of context.
Well, not really.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up,
T-minus 1 minute.
live out the true meaning of its creed.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
T-minus 50 seconds.
I am paying for this microphone, Mr.
Every dollar released from taxation
T-minus 40 seconds.
that is spent or invested will help create a new job.
Chivalry is dead, and women killed it.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines.
T-minus 20 seconds.
We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing ground and in the streets.
10, 9,
We shall fight
8,
in the hills.
6,
We shall never surrender!
3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, welcome to the Problem Solver Politics live stream this beautiful Monday, 27th of January. I am your host, Cardin Ellis. Glad to be with you, with none other than Cody the Oracle.
Oh, hey, everybody.
And Cody, what are we talking about today, man? It's been a busy week. It's been all kinds of stuff going
Busy
on.
week.
I mean, it's Monday, but
I mean,
you know,
it's
it's
been
pretty
a
cray
long
cray
one,
already.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see. Well, first of all, a couple things we're going to be talking about tonight. Couple endorsements have come in for Andrew Yang in the past, I guess we'll call it 48 hours, I guess, 24 to 48 hours. So we got a couple of those to talk about. And then a couple other things. I mean, like I said, a lot of it, unfortunately, I was doing a lot of research before we started tonight. And a lot of stuff to talk about, aside from a couple things to do have for you guys, is just more speculation about what's going to happen in Iowa. I mean, that's really the big thing right now. So the risk of beating that for too long, let's go in and talk about this first thing. So first thing I want to talk about is, because it's the shorter one, this actually showed up in my inbox 2 days ago? Yes, 3 days ago on Friday. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this, but I wanted to bring this up as well. And give me 1 second. Man, I really do not like the way that Gmail decides to crop itself. But anyway. Actor and comedian John Leguizamo is has endorsed.
No,
now.
you got to say John Leguizamo.
Leguizamo, there we go. He has
Leguizamo.
Andrew Yang for president. So today, award-winning actor and comedian has officially endorsed Andrew Yang for president, saying Yang Gang is down for the New Yorkers, so I am down for Yang Gang. So that's pretty cool. Official statement from the campaign, quote, John has brought Latino stories to the forefront, encouraging millions to be proud of their heritage. In the aftermath of the hurricanes in Puerto Rico, John worked hard to make sure our fellow Americans were not forgotten. I'm proud that John is joining our cause, and I know we can achieve great things together on issues that we're both passionate about, said Andrew Yang. So actually from Andrew Yang himself, not just from the campaign. If you're not familiar, actor of plenty of films, probably most famous now I forgot about, he does have a small role in the first 2 John Wick films. I actually forgot about that.
Oh, yeah,
He's the guy who owns the car store, the car shop in the John Wick film.
No, I loved him in that role. You know, he just, boom, gets smacked by the Russian mafioso's kid, and then he's waiting for the phone to ring.
Yep.
And the Russian mafioso,
not a very
do
deep
I
role.
understand that you struck my son? Yeah, I did. Do you mind telling me why? Yeah, because he stole John Wick's car and he killed his dog. And then the Russian guy's like, oh. Like, one of the best lines out there is just like, oh. And then he hangs up the phone, and John Leguizamo is just like, whew, holy smokes, I dodged that bullet. Good thing I'm on John Wick's side. I'm a sucker for the John Wick trilogy, though, dog. I am. I could watch
I still never saw the third.
Dog, I'll watch that with you tonight, dude. The third is awesome.
Okay.
The third bumps up what you consider stylized violence. Better than Quentin Tarantino ever did, dog.
Well, I honestly did not
like
watch.
bullets no longer are bullets.
Okay, well,
in the third one.
It's not why I watched. It's not why I like the John Wick movies. So perhaps I won't like the third one.
Okay, no,
but
sorry. There's this deep existential question and angst that is asked artistically in a new wave, French new wave fashion.
No, I don't want to watch that either. I'm just saying I'm not looking for. I don't know. John Wick movies were cool because the action was somewhat grounded. It actually looked like people fighting each other. Anyway, so yeah, and someone pointed out in chat already. I was gonna say it now, John.
You got to point it out. Come on.
As I was saying, I was trying to ask Carden, what was his big breakout film, right? Because it's really important. Andrew Yang didn't just secure the endorsement of an actor and comedian. I'm actually kind of bummed they didn't mention that in the press release there. They go through the films he was in the press release. By the way, all films he was in Carlito's Way. He was in. I have not seen Shaft, but he's in it, right? Romeo and Juliet, I don't even remember him being in that and some other stuff. However, the Andrew Yang campaign secured a key endorsement with his endorsement. You know who that is, right?
Yeah.
So who is it?
Who his key endorsement is?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Key. I wouldn't call any of them key. But
Andrew Yang had just got endorsed as of Friday by Luigi from Super Mario Bros.
Oh, yeah.
He has the Luigi endorsement.
Right.
It's a pretty good endorsement. Luigi's
yeah, that's legit.
It's not quite the Mario endorsement. I will admit it could be better, but he did snag the key Luigi endorsement. Not in the press release. I have read in articles. I don't know if this happened or not already, but there actually was reports that he'd be appearing on stage and helping to campaign in Iowa for Andrew Yang. And then really quickly before we move on, shout out again to Mark Percy, $20 super chat.
We need your address, man, to send you your hat.
Yes, if you haven't sent it already, please email it at problemsolverpolitics@gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat. But thank you very much, man. Good evening, and thank you. Good evening to you as well, man. Thank you. Let me put that in chat. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I think Andrew Yang should lean. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that John Leguizamo wants to show up in his full Mario Brothers costume to campaign for Andrew Yang as Luigi. However, people can make memes. They can say,
"Hey, would Nintendo get ticked? Nintendo of America?"
Yes, they would.
Officially endorsing a character.
Holy cow, would they get upset? You know what? Maybe don't make those memes, guys. You might get a DMCA or something. That the Nintendo is notorious for being very aggressive and controlling their intellectual properties. But I thought that was cool. Just and they mentioned also in this press release, and again, I'm showing you guys a press release because this is could have pulled up 4 different articles and they're basically the press release, so I might as well just show you the press release.
Yeah.
And they mentioned John Leguizamo was added to a growing list, including Dave Chappelle, Ken Jeong, Steven Yeun, and Donald Glover. Very cool. Again, like it would be nice to see a little bit of them leaning their stuff. I do not think we're gonna get a chance to see Luigi show up in the hat and everything, endorse Andrew Yang. But maybe just the green overalls. You don't have to completely sell it, but you could just kind of mention it. But yeah, but if Andrew Yang, I think if Andrew Yang even said Luigi in the wrong context, he'd probably get sued by Nintendo. But anyway,
so now that we got the Leguizamo thing going on, do you think there's going to be an uptick in the amount of Super Mario memes in the Yang Gang? I mean, we've got to create one. Is there a quintessential moment where you see Luigi standing next to Mario where they're asking themselves a very deep and pertinent question where we could put 2 speech bubbles in that would kind of make it, so we birth a new meme, kind of like Kate Hudson with a cat, how everybody just uses and abuses that one. Could we do one with Luigi and Mario?
It's not how memes work.
What do you mean that's not how memes work? There's plenty how memes work.
It's not.
Somebody comes up with a goofy picture, they make an original meme, and then it goes through 50,000 infinite permutations online until people get tired of it. That's exactly how memes work.
Yeah, but no.
Okay.
There was a Luigi meme from a couple of years ago from Mario Kart 8.
Geez, there Mario Kart 8 already?
Technically, there's a Mario Kart 8.5, which should be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which was Mario Kart, oh no, the Wii U was a failure. We have to re-release this game on the Switch. Which,
jeez. Okay.
By the way, I'm definitely not bitter that I still don't own Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I purchased Mario Kart 8 for $60 in the Wii U, and I feel punished by Nintendo for adopting their own equipment. So, not bitter about that at all.
Speaking of Mario Karts and futuristic vehicles, this may be a little bit unrelated, and I don't know if we planned about. I don't know if we planned talking about Andrew Yang's new ad. Okay, that a lot of people wanted some insight on.
Oh yeah, no, I wanted to watch that as well. Yeah, another.
I read an interesting article that was recommended to me in the Google News feed today by Inside EVs, an electric vehicle publication and forum that was highlighting the fact, I don't know if I'd say lamenting the fact, but anyway, highlighting the fact that Andrew Yang's ad had so many Teslas in it. They're like, hey, quit dogging on Teslas, man. Hey, quit it. Come on. Teslas are good. Apparently they thought that it was a little bit Tesla heavy when there could have been other electric vehicles that were highlighted as well. So,
this is not the ad I'm going to be showing right now, but there is an ad that he did not too long ago where he's driving a Tesla in it.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
And the Tesla ends up parking without his hands on the steering wheel. So apparently they feel like there needs to be affirmative action for electric vehicles to make it into anti-automation political hit piece ads. So I found that was pretty hilarious. The Andrew Yang has even found a way to ruffle some feathers in the electric vehicle community by not highlighting other vehicles that could potentially take away Uber and Lyft drivers' jobs.
Yeah, which I don't know. But this was, sorry, I was pulling this up. I got this pulled up right now. This was, I think, the newest interview. I think this is it. I think Andrew Yang said, the Andrew Yang campaign said this was the ad they are going to be running as their last ad in Iowa before the caucus.
Before the caucus.
I think
this is the final push.
So we're going to run that right now.
The final push, ladies and gentlemen.
If you're a parent, you've had this thought, our kids are not all right. We're leaving them a future that is far darker than the lives that we have led. We are going through the greatest economic transformation in our country's history, and it is pushing more and more of our people to the side. We talk as if Donald Trump is the cause of all of our problems. He is not. He is a symptom, and we need to cure the disease. The American dream that my parents came here to find is dying before our eyes. I'm running for president because I'm a parent and a patriot, and I have seen the future that we're leaving for our kids, and it is not something I'm willing to accept. We need to create a new way forward for our people. Join us in rewriting the rules of the 21st century economy so that we can look our kids in the eyes and say to them, and believe it, your country loves you, your country values you, and you will be all right. I'm Andrew Yang, and I approve this message.
You go first.
While I did like it, holy cow, do I forget how brutal 60-second commercials are. It's 60 seconds. A 60-second spot might as well be 45 minutes, man. Holy cow. I liked it. I liked that they're weaving in his debate appearances on there. I thought that's a really kind of just subtle way to get around the fact he was not on the last debate. Who cares? He's footage of him on a debate stage.
I think that's very powerful.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's a good way to get around that he wasn't on the last debate stage. Just whatever. Here's unrelated footage of him on a previous debate stage. Also, the message is on point, and I think that's honestly, I think his team's looking at the messaging, which I believe to be true. You're even talking about it, that we're kind of seeing it with as impeachment's ramping up, and there's this very without having a big debate in impeachment, I don't want to have. It is very particular partisan environment that surrounds it, with very particular partisan players on both sides that are hyper-focused and interested. And that's the minority of people. It's being shown time and time again. The networks are, the ratings aren't great. Like, not everyone cares. There's certain people that are part of, like I said, a certain kind of partisan sphere of politics right now that are hyper-focused. But your average voter isn't very interested. So I think Andrew Yang kind of leaning into the idea of, like, look, we have to focus on the same issues Donald Trump focused on, and then we could just move on from the whole Donald Trump thing and just get the issues addressed. I like that. I think that's powerful. It's a better line of messaging. However, I still would love him to do something a bit more targeted and focused, especially, I get it, and I'm always the most critical person of taking one data point and running with it, but man, if they have any internal data showing they're making headway in Iowa, explaining to people why UBI is so transformational and so great, I would love to see some ads. Give me 60 seconds of UBI and how you're going to implement it. Not even implement it. What would happen? Tell us what if UBI would help eradicate poverty. Is it good to eradicate poverty? Obviously, it is, right? But you see what I mean? Like, use that as a message for an ad. Show people what things could be. I would prefer that. Is all I'm going to say. It wasn't a bad ad. I liked some other stuff in it. Like I said, I think, and something the campaign's done the whole time, by the way, is on news. Is focusing on people that, like I said, don't exist in the kind of particular partisan landscape that's dominating the media right now. Because it's important to remember, all these journalists, they exist in this very particular partisan sphere. It's not everyone. It's not the whole country. Obviously, anyone who lives in this country knows. Like, when you turn on, like, a mainstream, big city, coastal, major news network, it's like a class of people in and of itself. And they have their own little things they care about, but that isn't who votes. And I think when people say the polls are wrong, it's not that the polls are wrong necessarily. What happens is the media is going to focus on weird data points in the polls. Because one thing people talk about a lot when it comes to 2016, saying the polls were wrong, right, was they were saying a lot about how a lot of media companies were doing is they were taking a lot of polls in which Hillary Clinton was narrowly beating Donald Trump and then saying, well, if you look at all these polls, she has a 98% chance of winning, even though none of the polls said that. It's just there's so many. Like, the media will do stuff like that. So I think there's often good info in the polls. And like I said, kind of roundabout way of just getting to the point of, I would like to see an Iowa ad more focused on UBI, especially if there's more data coming out that UBI is gaining ground in Iowa.
Yeah. So before I give my opinion, Paul Luna got a $5 super chat here. Why do you human for Yang? Dang it. I don't know what that means. Why do you human for Yang?
It's a very interesting question.
Cody, enlighten me. This seems like a hip new phrase.
Like I said, man, fascinating question, man. Very interesting. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Yeah, not sure. Fascinating question. Why do you human for Yang?
No, but what's that mean?
Like I said, man, it's very interesting.
Okay, well now
It's fascinating. That's what I mean.
Now I'm just lost. I assume why do we like Andrew Yang or the Humanity First slogan? I think because it's a more holistic approach to politics.
Well, yeah.
So,
well, no, I think, like I said, I think that's kind of what I was getting to there. Is that there's politics isn't journalists and legal majors arguing with each other over stupid nonsense we don't care about. That isn't necessarily politics. That's part of it. But there's this notion that if you want to care about who's elected president, you have to be caring about a lot of dumb bullshit, nonsense that goes on. Sorry, some people's gonna be swearing. That goes on in the government, and that's not true, man. We have a elected representative government for a reason. I mean, like, we literally hire these people to take care of these things for us. Like, this notion that we all of a sudden have to be all day, oh my God. Like, no, these people are hired by us to do a job for us, and that job they're hired to do is to handle these things for us. So, like I said, it's from a very particular perspective. You get the sense of how you have to be. Like, I honestly shouldn't know policy better than the candidates. I shouldn't have this burden. I shouldn't feel this pressure to be so. I should find people I trust and put my trust in them, which is, by the way, almost always how when you're almost hiring anyone for any job is, I trust with the contract we have, you'll do the thing I'm asking you. That's all you can hope for, right? I trust with these candidates, if I'm voting for you, that if put in office, you'll do what you can to say what you're going to do. And that's not a whole lot more you can do. I don't know.
So, thank you for demonetizing our stream, Cody. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, yesterday, Jay Williams said that on ESPN, and he got away with it because Kobe died. So
anyway, my opinions on the ad. I thought the ad was strong, and it's always strong. There's almost like this. You know how Joe Rogan said, it's a strong, he said he didn't endorse Bernie Sanders, but he said he was going to vote for him because he likes the fact that for 40 years, Bernie Sanders has been saying the same thing in regards to many social and cultural issues. Okay. And he said that's a powerful position to operate from. Okay. Is the consistency of 40 years of being very consistent in what you feel is your approach to civil rights and so on and so forth. And to a certain extent, I agree with him. Though his approach may be the incorrect approach, it is a strong position to operate from. Okay. So I believe when it comes to many political ads, politicians are viewed oftentimes as two-faced or as chameleons that'll say one thing in one environment and then another thing in another. I always think it's a very powerful ad when you can simply just quote yourself in a speech, especially a speech that was delivered in front of a lot of people. So it negates this idea that, oh, he would say something elsewhere, or this is a very targeted ad. It shows that you have a higher potential of being the president of the United States of America and not the president of this special interest group. If you can pull off a commercial that is basically narrated by you from a stage such as the debate stage. So I think that's I think that was very powerful. Michael Jones brought up some really good points. He says he endorses any ad that has the epic space age sunset purchased from Pond 5 for $39.95. In fact, actually, I would love it if somebody in the chat could figure out what stock footage website that
he's using a big firm. They have to have
was purchased from
suite. They have an expensive suite.
Yeah. But you know that's stock footage because I got to tell you, if it's less than maybe $100, I would be tempted to purchase it as the opener for our podcast. So every time we came up, we got the Andrew Yang sun closure. You know what I'm saying? As we started our podcast, just to have that same epic space age gravity feel. So anyway, I thought it was good. As much as I am a father, the kids are all not all right. It has always seemed a little bit more doom and gloom. The idea of providing a bright future for my children has always struck me as a little bit more compelling than augmenting the problems with the current system, and maybe that's just a positivity versus negativity thing. Andrew Yang has kind of a little bit of a pessimistic worldview. If you ever read his book, he's kind of a little bit doom and gloom, like, well, we're already screwed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not quite as doom and gloom as he is, but overall, I thought it was strong.
See, I wouldn't really call that pessimistic, though.
He's a little bit pessimistic.
I wouldn't call it pessimistic, because pessimistic, I think, would be more along the lines of, like, Like, oh, everything's over.
No, he's like, the glass is half empty. And by the way, condensation is making so it evaporates every minute we speak about it a little bit more. So it's actually like 48% half empty by the time we do this. Oh, and by the way, automation is going to make that glass for you a year from now. And they're so cheap, these owners that own the robots, it's probably only going to be 47% full the next time you have a chance to ask if it's half empty or half full.
Okay, but here's the thing. Optimists talk solutions. Pessimists don't talk solutions. Pessimists talk problems. Andrew Yang talks solutions. I would say by definition that makes him essentially an optimist. If you're pessimistic about things, you don't talk about
definition?
solutions.
Is that pessimists?
My definition. I don't care about your get your Websters out of here. But I'm serious. I don't know. Just like in general, like I would say, like, you know, people are saying here is a problem. I have an idea for how we could fix it. It doesn't strike me as pessimistic. Pessimistic's, oh my God, there's nothing we could do. Maybe it's one nihilistic. I don't know. My larger point is I think that Andrew Yang gets that a lot. It's the only reason why I said anything is because I hear a lot of people say Andrew Yang is very pessimistic, but I don't know, man. There's too much we can do something about this and fix this and what he says that strikes me as pessimistic. Does that make sense?
Okay, well, I guess it's a semantic argument of whether or not people share your definition that is wholly unique to Codius, Merriamus, Websterus.
But do you understand what I mean, though? That he does talk a lot about as well as how things can be fixed and how things can be done and solutions. So he doesn't just problem, the world's ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I got a question for you. There's a lot of chatter where people are inquiring and supposedly beginning to submit questions to him via press emails and so on and so forth if he anticipates calling a female as his VP, as Joe Biden has promised to. All right. Thus far, it's obviously been generally avoided as a topic of discussion, but he has made a couple of mentions in some responses to media, signaling what he would do or what he wouldn't do, which unfortunately in the position we're in, Tulsi would be a bad choice strategically because she doesn't bring a lot to the table in terms of electoral votes. Hawaii is a very small state, and it wouldn't be the classic Biden pick like Obama did when he said that was the best political decision of his life. You've got Klobuchar, who I feel would be a somewhat disingenuous choice because it would seem intellectually dishonest. And then you've got Elizabeth Warren, which I believe would be disastrous for Andrew Yang's credibility. Asking the most dishonest person, I won't even say woman, the most dishonest person I've ever seen in American politics.
Well, how about this?
But see, and that's why I think this identity politics is so destructive. Because when you say
something, 1 second, I want to ask you something.
Okay,
because you might know this, I don't. Who was the last VP that wasn't a primary contender alongside the eventual? Because does it have to? Does the VP?
Well, Mike Pence. Oh wait,
did Pence run? Maybe he didn't.
No, I don't think Pence
Here's
is
the
running.
thing.
Yeah, Pence didn't run.
That was another election.
So it would have been
Mike
running. Yeah, it would have. No, Mike Pence wasn't running for. He wasn't one of the 20 on the stage.
And I guess what's his name? So
you're thinking of the other Christian.
My point is this. Then my larger point, because even Palin, they didn't win, but I don't think Palin was running. My larger point is this: odds are then, right? It probably isn't going to be one of these people.
Well, and Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine wasn't a primary contender, and Hillary Clinton chose him.
So it's probably whoever the VP is, whoever ends up being the Democratic VP, odds are is not running for president at all this cycle, right?
Okay.
Just historically. I'm not saying it's true or not. Everyone always starts throwing out the names of various people running for president, but I'm like, does it have to be somebody who's running for president? Can't it be like another person who's a politician?
I'm getting dogged in the chat, bro. I've had like 7 people say, "Hey, Cardin for VP," because he's a woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting dogged in the chat, man. A couple of humorous, tongue-in-cheek suggestions here. Everything from Al Franken to AOC to Michelle Obama. Oh, dude, I got to tell you, if somebody picked Michelle Obama, as in anything, a running mate, a campaign manager, a flyer, passer-outerer, they would probably seal this thing in a heartbeat. True or not true?
I honestly don't know. I think it's...
Okay.
I think the people... I know it's true. The people of the country still like Michelle Obama. The press might be in the middle of turning in the Obamas, but the people of the country still like. And really quickly, I want to give a shout out to Andrew Holman. What's up, man? $5 super chat. He said, check out my Twitter poll. Yang support severely underrepresented in primary polls. And he points it out, which is very interesting because it is true. I highlighted this myself. I, of course, selected independent/other. That's what I would always select. And yes, independent, other, first-time voters, and Republicans, which is the majority of the 400 respondents. Again, a couple of sample sizes. But yes, true. We see this a lot with Andrew Yang. That's why in polls, he gets hurt a little bit. Again, the other reason I'm not saying polls are law. Polls also aren't liars. It's just a poll is like, I mean, it's like, I don't, it's weird, but I look at polls the way I look kind of at like a ruler, or like measuring tape. You know what I mean? Like, if you use it wrong, the results it give you won't be useful. But it's not like it's like a liar. It's just, if they're not used correctly, if the wrong groups are polled, if they're sampling weird people, if they're asking them weird questions, the results won't be useful, but they're not like lies. It's just they ask dumb questions. For example, Andrew Yang was at 0% or 1% in a series of CBS YouGov battleground states.
Yeah.
Because YouGov basically said we got brigaded by the Yang gang, so it's as an online poll, they actually do not have Andrew Yang as an option. He's a write-in, essentially. That's why Andrew Yang always performs poorly. He's essentially omitted from the poll. So, again, when Andrew Yang's polling at 1%, if he's polling at 1% because he's been removed from the ballot, like, that's kind of a reason. You know what I mean? Oh, and then we have a $10 super chat from Brett Merriweather. It says, sup, Ben? How you doing on this Monday?
Hey, what's up, Brett?
Nah, it's weird. It's Monday before the Super Bowl. It's that, they're postponing the Laker game tomorrow. Like, it's weird. Sports have slowed down. Normally there'd be football on right now. No football.
So homegirl Marion H brings up a good point, saying, I hope he doesn't pick someone too opposite of him. And she actually just articulated a general concern that I've had. And that is, who could he choose that would be like him enough? He's such an enigma. You know what I'm saying? I think Tulsi's the only one that's kind of like him when it comes to like
Watson.
Emotional intelligence. Who?
IBM Watson. That's a good one.
Okay. Explain it to me. Why is that a good one?
Do you know what that is?
No. Who's IBM Watson?
Who?
Yeah. Who's IBM Watson?
I think you mean what?
What?
It's like
So I just said what? You said I think you mean what? Is this like something super boomer?
No, it's just the company IBM. It's their like AI thing. Like Amazon's got Alexa, IBM has Watson.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we got another super chat here. It says,
right.
Check out Scott Santon's most recent tweet about the mock caucus. I think we already did, right? And didn't we talk about getting Cameron back on the show to talk about the caucus, how it goes down and everything?
I'm pulling it up right now. I don't think I've seen the most recent tweet about it.
Okay. Did he pull off a mock caucus? This is actually really cool. So it says, in a mock caucus right now, first round, Biden, Tulsi, and Amy were not viable. Ouch! Yang was viable, and we just grew in size by 26% after a number of them moved to us.
Biden was not. I guess Biden's not viable.
Well, because that's the thing is, it's like you rely upon the enthusiasm. It's like,
he's supposed to be the front runner. I get that he didn't maybe win.
No, but not an
viable.
enthusiastic front runner. Like, think Braveheart, dog. Think when a bunch of Scottish men in kilts in the 16th century meet together and start talking about which warlord is going to become tribal chief. That's what caucusing is, man. K-Boss says, when candidates start dropping out, which candidate endorsement for Yang would hurt his campaign the most? Which candidate's endorsement for Yang would hurt his campaign the most? Love your 20-minute videos.
Before you answer that, I got to tell you one thing.
Go Chiefs.
You always talk about Braveheart, right?
Yeah.
I believe Braveheart's Scottish, right?
Yeah.
Michael Wallace, right? William Wallace?
William Wallace.
I don't know how up-to-date you are on Scottish politics, however.
Probably wildly socialist, run by the UK. There's probably still rebellions.
I'm just saying, with all that bravehearting that went on, they're still trying to politically find independence. So, just keep in mind when you talk about with all that bravehearting going on, it seems that they're going to try to have another independence referendum vote.
So what's a better example?
I don't know. I just want to keep in perspective with Braveheart that it wasn't. They didn't necessarily. It's not necessarily like a World War II story with Braveheart. It's a bit more complicated.
So anyway, I want to answer K-Boss's question because I've always been asked what candidate's endorsement do you think would help the most. I've never been asked which candidate's endorsement you think would hurt his campaign the most. I don't think endorsements are I don't think one politician to another politician's endorsements are as powerful as they used to be. I think celebrity endorsements and pop culture icon endorsements are a little bit more, they carry more gravitas, if you know what I'm saying. But I think an Elizabeth Warren endorsement would hurt him. I think that would hurt him. She's just so fake, man.
How many people though realistically are going to be like, oh, like, I'm going to vote for Andrew Yang and Elizabeth Warren endorsed him? No way. I don't think negative endorsements work that. I don't think endorsements
I would be
work
done
that way.
talking to Andrew Yang if he picked Elizabeth Warren as a VP.
That's
I'd
different
be like,
than an endorsement.
Unforgivable.
But those are different things.
Dad isn't mad says Yang/Sasha Grey 2020.
Remember, Andrew Yang's running to
large internet following.
Andrew Yang's running to restrict pornography to minors. Which
I think it's a great idea.
By the way, good on Andrew Yang with that.
Yeah,
good on Andrew.
Way good on Andrew Yang. We sexualize our children way too early.
The Rock. I think if Andrew Yang ran with a good wrestler as his VP, he'd win. Like, The Rock's a pretty good option. Honestly, man, do not sleep on what would happen if freaking Stone Cold was his VP. I don't know what Stone Cold's politics are, but if Stone Cold I remember Stone Cold like appeared in a I don't know if it was just a Spanish language American artist or a Mexican artist. Either way, it was a Spanish language song. And Stone Cold was in the music video for like 10 seconds. And he was like #1 trending on Twitter for like hours. Because Stone Cold, like, people freak out about him. So don't sleep on Stone Cold. But, Paul Luna, here we go. It says, humanize policy, humanize your thoughts. Look out for each other regardless. YOLO, just a hippie thought. Thank you, man. Shout out for that. But it's another reason why we both been attracted to Andrew Yang. Like I said, he's like a politician that exists outside of this certain hyper-partisan political sphere. It's only frustrating and annoying, and nobody likes. You know what? John Cena would be pretty. John Cena would be pretty hard to vote against. You know what I mean? I mean, how could you try to denigrate John Cena?
Yeah, well, look, we got an update from Scott Santons. He said the final result is that each candidate just got 2 mock delegates. Okay, remember I said he's going to peel off at least one. He just got 2. Total numbers were Bernie with 30 people, but he gained 0 in second round. So he basically had the stand burners.
If you support, no one's going to be like, Bernie Sanders.
We saw that one coming a mile away. Anyway, second was Warren, who got 34, gaining enough to take first from Bernie. Pete and Yang tied with 24 people each after second round. So that's interesting. Enough people were enthusiastic about Pete. And look, if you're willing to do that like silly little dance, if you're willing to get out there and go, hey, 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 like that, you're pretty much probably one of these enthusiastic people that gets the other Midwesterners to come along with you in some folksy Christian youth camp kind of way. And then the Yang Gang, man. So it doesn't surprise me that Pete and Yang tied with 24 people each after the second round. I'm actually going to DM him, see if he wants to come on during the live stream to talk about it. That'd be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, sure.
We got to put the camera back on you so while I'm typing, I don't look disengaged.
I wish I knew more about how these mock caucuses work. Either way, it's a pretty good sign. And then we'll get a super chat from Kiona Kelly, I believe. $30 super chat. Thank you very much, by the way. Really, thank you. Said, y'all dope. 100. Blacks for Yang. America needs Yang. Very much. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate it. John Cena could recruit the BTS army. Dude, that'd be John Cena plus the K-pop crowd. That would be a near unstoppable ticket. But I just have a hunch for real though. Like, honestly, talking about who the VP is, I do have a hunch that it's not going to be somebody who ran for president. This has been a cycle where
now's a chance to really highlight one of these kind of characters, having a couple of Time articles written about him, and people might have heard about him, like the good versions of the Greta Thunbergs out there. Like the people that have actually done something for the environment. There's this young scientist, for example, that had invented a bacteria that can eat petroleum-based plastics.
I think he wants a politician, though, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't think he necessarily has to. He's the
tough
non-politician that's coming with all that citizen politician strength behind him.
But that's why it's helpful to have. I mean, that's what Trump did most recently.
Yeah, but people hate politicians now, man. I'm thinking, like, what if he rolled in with...
But you mean the people have finally woken up?
Or maybe an ex-politician, like somebody that was more of like maybe an ambassador or something, like Nikki Haley. I know she's a Republican, but it's kind of like a Nikki Haley character would be pretty awesome. You know, like I said, a Greta Thunberg, but just without the psychosis and the child abuse. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Sorry, somebody in the chat just said that. No, not John Cena. You wouldn't be able to see him. Very astute observation. You can't see John Cena, so we'd not be very good on the campaign.
I don't get it. Is that a WWE thing?
It's a John Cena joke.
Oh, okay. Cool.
By
Got another
the way,
super
shout
chat.
out to Stefan Lynn, I believe, who just joined as a member. Shout out very much, dude. And also, you guys should let me know. Let's see if I have them. We should have special little for all the members who are in the chat. And there's a few of you guys. There should be kind of like Twitch, if you ever followed us on our Twitch streams, special little things. We have to fix that one. It's supposed to not have the white background, but we're working on getting more of those done as well.
Hey, we got another super chat from Kiana Kelly. Y'all are dope.
I heard that one.
Oh, you read that one? Dang it. Hey, it says hashtag Blacks for Yang and hashtag America Needs Yang. We haven't been able to interview anybody. I didn't know there was a formal group called Blacks for Yang. Or is that just like a hashtag? It's probably just a hashtag.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's like a pack or anything. They might think it's like a group. Interesting. I wonder if.
But yeah, I'd be interested in getting him on the show. Hit us up, Kiana or Kiana.
Oh, and by the way, just to also join us. Thank you very much. Shout out for that. Very cool. We're working very hard on getting more stuff added to all the joining stuff as well. So if you join right now, I think we're going to do a special stream later this week and more stuff coming out. We just got to kind of figure out what we can actually offer as additional content to you guys. That's cool. And on the side, without detracting from the time we're able to spend doing our main content that everyone gets. So we're working on that, but thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. I honestly think what would be cool for Andrew Yang if he were to win the primary were to be a no. I was going to say some like big time centrist kind of figure, but
yeah, Klobuchar. You already got a big time centrist.
No, but not someone running. Like a politician people know who they know for being more moderate and open. But I honestly don't know what happens if this primary is getting to. Dude, I've said it 4 or 5 times now. It's a beautiful parallel with Super Bowl week. We're at the point right now where it's just like, dude, I am so like. I just want to start seeing the votes. I just want to start seeing the numbers. I just want to start seeing where things are actually at. Because right now, there's so much stuff flying around, so much stuff going on, so much last-minute money, campaigning, everything getting pumped in. So there's a $2 super chat from Kiana. Oh, my God, I can't talk today. It said, I live all the way in Portland, Oregon. We could do...
Skype it.
Yeah, or Zoom. Microsoft, I think, is Zoom Microsoft? And you guys let me know in chat. If it is, unfortunately, it's probably the easiest one to use. But still, it's Microsoft.
So anyway, Kiana, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing this name right. You have to put in the chat how we pronounce your name. Is it Kiona or Kiana or Kiana? One of those 3. Either way, it sounds pretty cool. So anyway, these are all actually really good ideas, and I think it would have to come from without. Because if all of a sudden he did choose a politician, he'd have to say why.
It has
and
to.
His justifications could not be based upon any knowledge of experience. He would be fishing for a reason why he chose the politician other than shameless politics.
What about the why is this? God forbid something happens to Andrew Yang. That person's president. Like you can't have Pitbull be your VP because he could.
What's wrong with that? He could wrap himself out of any bad situation.
Here's the problem. Pitbull probably could honestly serve the role as VP with what you actually have to do as VP. It's if something were to happen and Pitbull were to suddenly become president, just, is that where it is? Which, by the way, I would endorse maybe like, what was that? What does Andrew Yang want to make? Andrew Yang wants to institute what's the name of it? Help me out in chat. By the way, shout out $10 super chat from Sage Uber. It said Woot PDX. Thank you very much. And we said it right the first time, Kiona. Why am I blanking on this so hard? But there was something like that I was trying to say. And now I got off topic thinking about all this crazy Iowa caucus stuff and stuff like that. But we are here we go. I mean, I do wonder, someone brought this up a little bit. I wonder why there's been less, better way, let me walk it back and phrase it better. I know Amy Klobuchar is no threat and no one cares about Amy Klobuchar because I have not seen like any, and I mean any, clobbering time memes or clob memes with Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
And it's like that's such a low hanging fruit. It just means no one cares. Like it's not that no one's thought of it. Just no one cares. A lot of people, no one cares to do it because no one cares Amy Klobuchar. Sorry, Amy. I mean, it's just hey, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Not a whole lot we can do about it. I have an attention span of probably like 8 seconds, but it gets shrunk to 4 seconds when I have all the monitors and screens in front of me.
And coffee.
Yeah, mostly it's just too many. Hey, there's a lot of things going on around me right now that are grabbing my attention.
Also, before I forget, Kiona Kelly has got to send us Kiona is ooh. I don't know if that's I don't know the traditional gender of that name. That's pretty hip. Anyway, send us your address so we can send you a hat. In fact, we're bringing that back. Emperor Xander just asked us a question. Said, if we do a $20 super chat or more, can we still get a hat? Yes. I've got some hats sitting in the corner. I'm looking at some of the boxes right here. I got enough that I could probably still honor that for another stream, maybe even 2. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, if you've sent us a super chat of 20 or more, just make sure you send us your address, and we'll totally hook you up. Make sure you say what your username is and what your real name is, so they don't send it back to us saying, hey, you know, Wing Dinger Hero Alpha Rocker Stud 309 doesn't live here. This is actually the Rodriguez house. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Kiana Kelly says female. Rock on. That's cool. Got to tell us how to pronounce your name too. I didn't see that in there. I want to make sure I do it right. So anyway, we're getting some requests for the shirts. Yeah, we'll do the shirts once we're done with the hats. And Calbear says that PSP is bringing sexy hat back. Boom shakalaka. I'm liking the Justin Timberlake reference, and yeah, I think they are pretty. They are pretty cool. And Kiana sent it to us through our email, problemsolverpolitics@gmail.com. So anyway, gosh, what were we talking about? We talked about Legui Salmo. We talked about the new ad. We talked about Andrew Yang qualifying. We talked about the caucuses and why the caucuses would be advantageous, right?
Sorry, someone brought up what I was trying to think of, but I forgot before. The head of culture and ceremony. Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. That would basically be the celebrity of the party. Thank you very much. Who was that? That was Jimmy Stoneful. Thank you very much. And honestly, we should do it. We should do another, maybe next stream, a deep dive through just policy. But sorry, and then a $7 Canadian super chat, I believe that is, from Fred Chung. Thank you very much, man. I apologize.
Sweet.
Somebody brought up the that what it was. It was called the head of culture and ceremony. Actually, I'm gonna pull that up right now. I want to see if he still has it on his website. That is honestly.
Yes, Sage Uber. Yes.
And yeah, exactly. So again, just send us your email to problemsolverpolitics@gmail.com. And thank you very much, man. We appreciate it. Here we go. Sorry, I just pulled it up.
Also, if any of you guys are artistic out there, it's been suggested that we start having some fan art possibly highlighted during these live streams. And if it's cool enough, we might put it on a shirt as soon as we're done unloading the hats. So when we first started, we actually got some really cool fan art. We got some people that made Cody in like a Pope hat as Cody the Oracle in his big giant robes. That was pretty sick. And then we also had somebody else that had put me in like my 10 o'clock shadow that I usually have in a hand-drawn pic. That was pretty cool. Toned down a little bit, but yeah, I'd like to bring that back. That could be our own like head of culture. Hey, we should have like a weekly poet laureate of the Problem Solver Politics channel. Would that not be pretty sick, Cody?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Sorry, I was like trying to pull everything. I apologize. Yeah, and then I think it would be key on us. Thank you very much, Kiana. Again, thank you very much. Holy cow, we really appreciate it. God. Here's what I've been trying to pull up for. I'm sorry, if I don't do it now, I will forget for 50 more times. This is what I was thinking of. Head of culture and ceremony, but I do want to talk about this because as we're talking about VPs here, it's one of the interesting things that I like about this here, because I saw some people in chats they didn't like it. I don't love this. However, if it did divorce some of the more overtly ceremonial and perhaps kind of like whatever kind of things from the president and vice president, while still serving as a state vetted, spokesperson essentially.
But isn't
I like
could
that.
you
I
even
like
pull
that.
this off? Like, honestly, we want the president to be the one pardoning turkeys. And it's the part of the social fabric. When you and I did our first video on this policy thing, I said I thought this policy was a bad idea. Because we need the president to be doing non-political things that are culturally relevant so that we can gravitate towards him in a bipartisan way, him or her, I should say, in a bipartisan way. So when there is a partisan struggle, there's at least something we can agree he did well. He was a statesman when the Challenger exploded and he gave that great speech. And he helped America get through this.
I don't think that's when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes out, is after the Challenger. So, I don't think that they'll necessarily replace them. But I want
pardoning turkeys is the cute crap we need the president to be doing,
as
man.
As a counterpoint, what if this head of culture and ceremony is simply somebody who's just there for the things that aren't what you've thought about? The things the president shows up for, you couldn't even name because you don't know, that are so mundane and... You know what I mean? Like, overseas, it's a great way to have an official American spokesperson. I mean, here's the thing. At a certain point...
But you'd have to call somebody cool, and then do you really want that person to be the official American spokesperson? Because, for example, Rhythm and Acoustics suggests head of culture should be Dave Chappelle or some other comedian. I actually kind of think that. You know what I'm saying? We should just get something crazy and zany if we're going to have it. But then you have somebody crazy and zany out there doing official stuff.
They probably wouldn't make the cut. You'd probably have to find somebody like it would be a great head of culture and ceremony. And I'm sure some people in chat will have some reasons to detract. I'm just saying, like, if I had to pick an American to do this today, I'd probably pick
who?
Like Tom Hanks, right? Like who is going?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Who is going to get up and rant and rave about how much they hate Tom Hanks? Like, Tom Hanks can go. He's very stately.
He would have to apologize for his anti-Mormon and anti-Republican comments.
Oh my God!
But to me personally, in the Oval Office, to me personally,
okay. And then a $20 super chat from K-Boss said, "Need that dope PSP hat? What's the best way to yang someone who votes based on polls? Illinois for yang, blacks for yang." So cool. K-Boss, please, before I forget, I'm going to put the email in again. It's problemsolvingpolitics@gmail.com, and we will definitely hook you up with that, man. Especially Illinois, very cool. And then really quickly,
and then also, man, we're getting a lot of these hashtag blacks for yang, and I haven't seen a lot of that hashtag before, and I've never seen a hashtag, not as much as other hashtags associated with Andrew Yang.
You're not looking, because I see it on Twitter all the time.
Oh, well, you're more on Twitter. I'm more on Instagram. That's true.
Hashtags are from Twitter.
That's true. You're running the Twitter account, so that's probably just a social media platform bias.
I mean,
but I've never seen...
I
mean, I've seen it. Okay, it's not as prominent as, like, for example, like hashtag Paget KG, hashtag UBI, hashtag Freedom Dividend. We're always seeing those ones, but I've never seen Illinois for Yang. That's kind of cool, man.
Yeah, again, you gotta get on Twitter more.
Yeah, maybe I do. Gosh.
Because anyway, to get to the question though. Sorry, I want to get to the question is, what's the best way to yang someone who votes based on polls, Carden?
You know what? Okay, by yang, I assume you mean to introduce somebody to the best policies of Andrew Yang, especially the Freedom Dividend, and to get them one step closer to the Yang Gang, if not in the Yang Gang, if not a supporter of Andrew Yang. Someone who votes based on polls is a very weird person. You know what I'm saying? I think what they mean is they're using polls to justify the argument of electability. I don't want to put words in K-Boss's mouth here, but I'm thinking that K-Boss is asking what's the best way to yang someone who votes based principally upon what the perceived electability of a candidate is based on polls, is I think what he's asking. And at that point, I would actually bring out polls, go deeper into the data. Just like Jordan Peterson says whenever people confront him and say, oh, well, I read a quote where you said this. He usually says, read more. What's the next sentence in that quote? So if somebody's actually making arguments against Andrew Yang based upon polling data, say, you need to read more. First off, you want to complain that he's only at 5% in the polls? He was at 0 earlier. Name anybody he was at 1% earlier. Name anybody who has gone up 500% in 5 months. You want to talk polls? Who's got the only net favorability ranking on that entire stage? of the top 8 Democrats, assuming we're talking just Democrats here, with conservatives, you can actually make factual arguments based upon economic science and, Republican ideals such as freedom and fiscal responsibility, as Cody rolls his eyes and is groaning and dying in the corner. So anyway, I assume you're speaking about Democrats. And what I would say is actually go deeper into the data and say, hey, you want to talk polls and you want to talk to electability, who's got the highest net favorability? And they'll be like, what? Explain to them what net favorability is, how it could potentially hurt Trump, how it actually is potentially helping other more moderate Republicans, how it's absolutely decimating frontrunners in the Democrat Party, and how there's only one person that actually has net favorability based upon a whole slew of polls, not just one lucky outlier. So I would actually go deeper into the polling data and show exactly why it is he's going up. And by the way, telephone polls aren't the only polls. Show them internet polls. Show them Google searches. Show them Twitter trends. Say, look, there's a reason why all these people, especially the young generation, is really, really looking at this guy and enthusiastic about him. And usually there's going to be some keyword and some key element of what they look for in a politician that will be touched upon if you actually dive in like that. So, K-Boss, great question. Send us your address so we can send you a hat. That was awesome. Cody, you were... I know you were wiggling your head to say Cardin's a lunatic and crazy, but were you wiggling your head because you wanted to say something, or was that just like a protest wiggle?
I always forget that if only the world was smart enough to just everyone be conservative Republicans, right? Then they would be saved of all wrongdoings. Oh my God. Anyway, moving on. $5 super chat from Ghost Mudo. It said, Ghost here. Thank you for the work you all put in for Yang Gang. Thank you very much. What are your thoughts about caucus locations changing last minute? Source Reddit. I'll see. I have not been able to dig up the particular Reddit that you're talking about yet. However, just operating under the assumption that there is caucus locations being changed at the last minute Well,
there's also been rumors that some locations are not going to have the capacity. At first, there was rumors that they were not allowing you to change party affiliation, meaning if you're a registered independent or declined to state, you couldn't show up and register Democrat in order to participate all of a sudden. But we weren't able to verify that. So that's kind of just in the hearsay and rumor bin right now. And then also, were you able to verify the idea that location is changing last minute? I mean, there's a million and one reasons why things could change last minute. And oftentimes it's easy to think that there's some kind of dubious, underhanded activity. Now, let me tell you, I don't trust the DNC. So I'll be first to probably believe a bad rumor about the DMC. Not DMC, sorry. That's Run DMC. I meant the DNC. I'll be first not to trust the DNC, okay? At the same time, I myself have participated in many a political event outside of election day, okay, in which a location for something last minute had to get changed just for a million and one reasons, including ones that I wouldn't even mention here on YouTube because it would probably get hit by some algorithmic strike. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but also I believe with a caucus thing like this, I believe like individual locations aren't necessarily top-down dictated by DNC, because that's the way I understand it.
It's the state party or the county party.
That's what I mean. They'll have these in gymnasiums or backyards. Yeah, I imagine when a small county's trying
if there's an asbestos outbreak in the local gymnasium where they were going to have it, then all of a sudden, sorry, you got to move it.
Traffic. How about this? What if they were going to have it in a location and then people just arose concerns about traffic and parking, so they had to move it?
No.
Actually, hold on. That is such a California event, or Los Angeles event problem. We can't do the event there. There'll be no parking. But just assuming they are changes, I could see, like I said, a lot of reasons why there would just be scheduling stuff that come up. I would honestly say it probably uniquely benefits Andrew Yang if there was last minute weird stuff that changed, because and it's why Cardin, it's why you always say that the caucus system benefits Yang, is the passion.
Dude.
You think these people are just going to be like, oh, man, I forgot to look where it was and I couldn't make it to the caucus? Like, Andrew Yang people are going to find out if they're changing minute of. You know what I mean? So I would say it uniquely benefits
You know
him.
who caucused for who? At the end of It's a Wonderful Life, everybody caucused for George Bailey and Jimmy Stewart's character in It's a Wonderful Life. That was a perfect example of a caucus. When everybody just shows up to the location, they register the support of their guy, boom, shakalaka. We're not Potter's people. We're your people, man. You know what I'm saying? That's caucusing right there. You know what I'm saying? Brings tears to my eyes, beat to my heart, blood in my veins. Oh, caucusing. That's my kind of party right there, man. So, Anyway, I was going somewhere with this, and I totally forgot where I was going, and I was super excited for where I was going to, and now I'm really disappointed because I was really super excited, and now I'm disappointed, and it's disappointing to be disappointed.
Heartbroken, man. Oh, a shout out to... Sorry, I need to read this.
Oh, no, I remember what I was going to say. The question from Ghost Muto was, what are your thoughts about caucus locations changing last minute? I think obviously not all of them are going to change. That would affect an extreme minority of delegates and potential delegates. It could only potentially hurt Yang if it was probably in a more urban center than in a rural center, unless there was a super really awesome effective rural Yang ganger. By the way, if any of you guys in the Yang gang know somebody that's crushing it in rural Iowa for Andrew Yang, I'd be really interested in interviewing them on our show. So make sure you shout them out in the chat and or send us an email. We'd be really interested in talking to somebody who's canvassing in Iowa for rural Yang gang. But the other thing that I actually give credit to the local Iowa Democrat Party for is having out of state delegate locations where they can like Skype in. There's supposedly they've set up some remote delegate locations where people that can only participate remotely are going to be able to caucus for delegates, which I thought was pretty cool.
It is.
But it does betray a little bit that idea of being in the room and being able to smell the sweat of the person next to you who's just cheering Bernie, and you're like, oh, I gotta out cheer him because the Julian Castro people out there, you know, I can see them looking at us and then looking at the Bernie people and looking at us, and they're saying federal jobs guarantee is the best for the USA, and their little chant doesn't even rhyme, and they all smell like BO. But us over here in the Yang gang, we're just cheering freedom dividend with our USA flags, and we look better and we smell better. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what it's about. That face-to-face contact, that in a world of automation where everything is being taken away by robots and computers and technology, we can have a human experience where we got to look the person in the whites of the eyes and say, boom, I'm going with your tribe. Straight up your tribe.
Why don't you just pick the biggest person and have them fight the biggest person from the other supporter base until there's only one big person left?
I fully endorse this.
Why don't you just show up to a
That wouldn't even be caucusing. We just call that cocking.
Yeah, you just show up to a field and there's a big circle in the middle of the field. And everyone has to pick their weapon. And then you just say, well, this is the biggest Warren supporter. Go out and go get him, Tiger. Why don't we just down him? I'm obviously not a fan of the caucus system. Before I forget, shout out to our friend Josh over there at Coastal Gang for sharing this with me. I thought it was really cool. We have Super Yangio, Super Yango. Yeah, I don't know what you would call that. It does look nice though, doesn't it?
No neck Yang. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Well, Mario wasn't known for his neck. It's not really one of his key features.
We just got to get a stash on Andrew Yang, and that will complete the meme, right?
He's missing the mustache.
He's missing the big, huge stash. You got to realize, I grew up drawing 3 characters incessantly. I drew the dragon, was one of the first things I learned how to draw, and was a copy of the dragon from Sleeping Beauty. The Ninja Turtles. I drew the Ninja Turtles from first grade on incessantly. I was a big Ninja Turtle fan. And then Mario, because in first grade in Mrs. Peterson's class, there was this girl that I used to play with, and she knew I liked Mario. And I think her mom worked for a bookstore or something. So she got me a Mario, how to draw Mario and how to color Mario book that was officially sponsored by Nintendo. And so I learned how to draw Mario and Mushroom. I could never quite do Princess Peach correctly, but I was able to do Toad. Yeah, I was able to do Toad.
What about Goombas? Could you do a Goomba?
I don't even remember what a Goomba is. What's a Goomba? Oh, wait, is that the brown Toad?
Yeah, right. We're kind of running out of things,
the first
right?
thing you hit in the first Super Mario?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Goombas?
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't know they were called Goombas. That's cool. I feel cool. Yeah. So anyway.
Basically everything in video game has a name. For example, in the early Legend of Zelda games, there was enemies that they almost look like bunny ears that hopped around, like just disjointed bunny ears. And those were called Pole's Voice.
Wait, what?
And actually, there's a really funny thing about the Pole's Voice is not exclusive, but in Japan, when they came out with what we called the NES, they called it the Famicom. Anyway, one of the controllers had a built-in microphone, And so one of the gimmicks with the big bunny-eared enemies is that if you were to make a loud noise into the microphone, I don't know if it would like stun them or it would do something.
Okay.
So they translated that into the English game manual. It's just the English version of the console didn't have that microphone, so it always confused people. It's like, why does it say that? It doesn't work. It's like, well, technically it did. So that was a weird aside, but just reminded me of that. That was kind of funny. It was one of those weird things where everything was the same more or less, so they just translated it, but not that one thing that made a difference.
Okay. Speaking of things that make a difference, this came up today, and I really think Andrew Yang needs to embrace it. And I would be willing to help move this policy decision forward if you were willing to help me. Pete Buttigieg had the dance.
High hopes.
Yeah, the high hopes dance.
By the way, it's gone away. I've not seen the high hopes dance in quite some time.
What is going to be the Andrew Yang dance?
None.
Dude, I don't know, dog. If we avoided this thing, you know what I'm saying? That was the one that did it. If we had like a little bit more well measured, like maybe to like not an R&B beat, but maybe
dance.
A Donald Glover song.
Why does it have to
you know
be
what I'm
dance?
saying? A Childish Gambino. Maybe not a dance, but just like a shimmy.
Why?
Or like a move. You know what I'm saying?
For what reason? Tell me. For what reason?
Just so like, for the same reason that the marching band came into the First in the West.
Which one?
Big
Kamala
rally
Harris's
that went to?
or Cory Booker, both of which are not running for president anymore, by the way.
No, Joe Biden had the killer band.
So 3 people did it, and 2 of them aren't running
Yeah,
anymore.
and one's like freaking leading the pack right now. Dude, I'm telling you, dude, boomers love that kind of crap. You know, and as long as it's cool. Like, look, all of us, if we could break dance, would do a dance for people because breakdancing is just BA.
Shout out to B-Boys for Yang. I've seen them literally breakdance for Yang in front of me. So shout out to B-Boys for Yang. They're very cool.
Yes. So at the end of the day, that proves that it's not dancing that's stupid and silly. It's stupid and silly dancing that's stupid and silly. So if we can make a cool dance, like, come on, if Childish Gambino, if your buddy Glover choreographed a dance that was sick and was cool, wouldn't that be hip if the Yang Gang all learned it? Like, we were all Superman in that hoe with what was that name?
You're on your own on this one, man. You're on your own now.
What was that dance? Come on, what was it? Come on, bail me out here. Pop culture.
You brought it up, man. I didn't bring it up. I don't know.
Okay, so there was that dance.
Who is Soulja Boy? I'm not sure who Soulja Boy is.
Yeah, so we all were doing the Soulja Boy dance like 5-6 years ago. Why can't we be doing the Andrew Yang dance? Because Glover got a sick dance to some song of his, you know, and dedicated it to Andrew Yang. And now all of us can do that. I think that'd be wicked.
Tell you what, man, go out on your own then and be the Pied Piper of dancing morons and get all the people to come follow you and see if it helps Andrew Yang get elected president. If it does, holy cow, man, I will have never been proven more wrong in my entire life. You know what? I think there's a great Frasier scene that sums this up, right? Where, you know, one person's doing a goofy dance like that, and another person joins, and another person says, "Why don't you come in and join us?" And he says, "No, I think it'd look stupid if we were all doing it." And I think that's the thing with dancing. Having people that are supporters, oh my God, I apologize about that. For example, B-Boys for Yang, great. The guys we saw pretty good dancers, and they're dancing for Yang, cool. Someone like me dancing for Yang, there's kind of a big diminishing return in who it is, you know what I mean? People who can dance, awesome. People who can dance for Yang, that's awesome.
Dude.
Everyone, I don't know.
So look, we're getting a lot of yes dances. We're also getting, Lori Green's got a good idea, a Yang Gang flash mob. What if we did a Yang Gang flash mob at some location in Los Angeles as a way to meet our cool fans? Like a silent dance party in a Barnes & Noble or something.
We've done like a Yang Gang flash mob before.
Let's do it again, except for just with PSP followers. Or have you ever done a silent dance party? That's really cool. You know what a silent dance party is? That's where everybody picks a song that they're going to have, and then you go into a public location where there's a clock that everybody can see, and then when it strikes a certain time, everybody just starts presses play on their iPhones. They have to have it pulled up already. And if you press play, everybody's on the same beat. And so all of a sudden, everybody's just dancing to the same beat, but it's silent because you got your headphones on. And it's pretty sweet because you look around and you're like, oh, yeah, that guy's with us. Oh, yeah, that girl's with us.
I mean no offense when I say this.
Ah, crap.
But
I knocked over my LaCroix.
I've never been that interested in attention, so I've never tried something like that before. But maybe
No, it's not about attention. It's about camaraderie, dog.
Okay.
Because nobody knows who you are.
You know what really proves...
And it's the voluminous effect of 10
what
people.
proves it's really about camaraderie is doing it in public and filming it and posting it on the internet. That's what really proves the camaraderie angle of all of it. I don't know, man. Not a fan. It's not... I am one of the people who was saying why I don't like the idea of a dance because I'm not a fan. If I was at a Yang rally and people around me, come on, we're doing the dance, I would just leave. I mean, maybe not leave, but I'd walk somewhere else. I'd be like, yeah, do the dance.
Dude, have you ever seen in Sweden when the 500 Swedish dancers did the Michael Jackson song in the main public square? Have you seen that? Where they're just all walking around and no, not in the prison. All of a sudden, just one girl starts dancing to Michael Jackson, and then 5 other chicks that were sitting there just eating their just whatever food drop it, and then they start dancing. All of a sudden, you realize of the 700 people in the square, 500 of them are all dancers. That would be totally BA and a pop culture moment if all the Yang Gang learned a sick dance.
You know what? If you were running a campaign in 2012, I would say that is revolutionary. That would but in 2020, it's that weird middle ground. It's not necessarily novel or a throwback because it's just so played out.
Where if you can pull it off,
but
it's cool.
not new one.
Because it has to be predictable enough that people know what it is because it's politics.
I'm just saying, no offense, that's old news.
No, I am cool, and it's not old news.
Flash mobs were super cool in 2007.
Neither is Justin Bieber or Eminem.
When I was 2008, 2009, I was like, wow, that's really impressive. 2020, people are like, leave me alone. Imagine this. You go outside to the park, nice day, you have an apple or whatever, and you're like, I'm just going to read out in the park, nice day. And some people desperate for likes on Twitter show up and start screaming and jumping around in the circle. It's like, cool, man. I know that sounds rude and dismissive. I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying different perspectives. From some people's perspective, they would say...
You probably don't tip the break dancers at Universal City Walk, do you?
That's way different than me walking my dog and being like, why can't I walk my dog? Oh, a bunch of people are they're dancing for some Andrew Yang guy. It's another reason why you don't want to do these weird things in public necessarily all the time is because... Oh, why are these awful people making these noises? Isn't the greatest introduction to Andrew Yang. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. The reason why I prefer...
I defer...
More traditional methods, perhaps.
I defer to the chat. Have you ever seen that opening scene in Shaun of the Dead where they don't like him because he's a cop that takes his job too seriously? And so the chief wants to fire him. Then the vice chief wants to fire him. And he says, that's it. I'm going to take this to the team. And he walks out. And then all of the team... All the other cops already have his goodbye cake, planned out. They're like, goodbye. I'm taking this to the chat, Cody. I want to know in the chat, should we try and organize some kind of sick flash mob, some kind of cool group dance, all choreograph it if we have to, all right? We want to get, hopefully, a professional. You know what I'm saying? But should we put yes in the chat? Yes to flash mob or flash dance, or yes to dance, or yes to public coolness, whatever you want to say. Yes, should we try and push this, or no? Shan't we? Shan't we? HE double hockey sticks, no. However you want to respond. So,
yeah, like I said, man, I don't think I think.
Oh no,
you know
I'm getting a lot of no's.
There's
what? Some yes.
Call me crazy.
Terrible boomer idea. Ouch.
Call me crazy. I think there's more effective ways to campaign for president than to dance around like a moron in Central Park. I could be wrong, dude. Maybe the most effective way to run for president is to do the bend and snap in Starbucks in a group of people. I don't know. Maybe it is. You know what? Has anyone done that? Anyone done a Legally Blonde bend and snap one? Let's see one of those. But I don't know, man. I would recommend more traditional ways of running for president. I think they're more effective. Phone banking, canvassing, stuff seems to work.
Oh, that's funny. Rhythm Akusa says, only if Cardin goes first dancing naked. Do not tempt me. No, I'm getting a lot of only if Donald Glover choreographs it. That'd be kind of cool.
$2 super chat from Nate Johnson. No. Very succinct. I appreciate it, Nate.
Are you suggesting that donors' opinions have more sway than the common man?
That was a very succinct answer.
Oh, and he didn't even uppercase it or all caps it or put an exclamation mark. He was just like, N-O. That was awesome.
You know, I have a better idea, guys. Why don't we all do the ice bucket challenge for? We should all plank for Yang. How about that? We'll do this summer when Andrew Yang's still
No, I got
around.
one that's even older, bro.
We'll do a summer of Yang. We'll do planking. We'll do ice water challenge. What's my ones? We'll do cinnamon challenge for Yang. The nutmeg challenge for Yang. What else? What's some other challenges for Yang we could do?
Dude, here's one. Dude, I haven't even said this word for maybe it might be a decade because I was living in New York when this was big, and that was 2010. So it might have been a decade since I said this word. AI Plays says we should do a Harlem Shake for Yang. Harlem Shake. That is old school and beautiful.
That was big like 2011-ish. I remember LeBron James, the Miami Heat, did a Harlem Shake video, but I just like I said, I think the energy is better channeled into more traditional things. You could help. You could be real help. I'm just saying, you have to remember, there's the people that see these flash mobs as gigantic public nuisances that distract them and take time away from their day and will say, definitely not voting for that Andrew Yang guy. I'm not saying you should act that way or everyone acts that way, but it happens. And it's just, I don't know. I'm not... It's not my style to make a scene in public, I guess is the best way of putting it. Okay. Making a scene in public is generally not what I agree with.
Okay. Dorothy Page says...
Bird Box Challenge. Sorry, Bird Box Challenge for Yang. There we go.
What is the Bird Box Challenge? We have to be quiet?
I was going to call you a boomer, but that movie came out like, what, a year ago?
Yeah, that was like last year. What's the
I don't
Bird
know.
Box
What'd
Challenge?
they do in the movie?
Where they just blindfold themselves and try and walk around everywhere?
There we go. You got it. That is the Bird Box Challenge.
Okay. Anyway, Dorothy Page. We're getting trolled, dog. This is hard. Dorothy Page says, I don't remember the last time I facepalmed so much within an hour. Okay. I'd say 90% of that facepalming is coming from Cody the Oracle. Because over here ain't nothing facepalm worthy.
I got a couple super chats. $2 from Christian Solid. He said lobbying for maybe. And then Gilly Squeeze, $5 super chat, said the Yang Gang don't dance. They just pull up their pants and do the rock away. A lean back. You know what? I have a feeling Fat Joe couldn't say it better himself. You know what? Maybe that's the kind of dance I'll do for Andrew Yang. That's hey, great comment here by DVIJ461. He said save the dancing for when he wins. There we go.
Yeah.
Celebrate after he's won. That's a great point. Because you know what? After he's won, then you can't just go make a big public nuisance. And that's not really, who cares? He already won. But Pokemon theme song. Yeah, we could do That is some matches. A garden is legit and boomer.
And I just responded. I said, boom! Boom!
How did you miss the Bird Box Challenge? That literally happened like 12 months ago.
No, but I didn't know there was a challenge, like a Bird Box Challenge. Like, what do you do? Like, drive
big
around?
News. Like, yeah, people did that. Someone tried driving blindfolded, like in the movie. And it didn't
Shut
work.
up, really?
Yeah, they got a crash.
Well, yeah, of course you're going to get a crash.
Yeah, I know. You know, you shouldn't be dancing, you shouldn't be driving blind, but
jeez, man.
That kind of sucks, right? They should come up with a workaround for that. Hey, you know what's a workaround for driving blind, by the way?
What?
Self-driving vehicles.
Word.
Like, well, I didn't think about that. So just like, it's one of those things it's obvious, not like, whoa, what? It's like, obviously, yes, that would be how that works. But interesting. I thought about it. Because that'd be one of the first times you think about blind people. Because right now, of course, blind people can have, they can call taxis, just Ubers and Lyfts. But it'd be interesting for people that, not only blind people who, for whatever reason, can't operate motor vehicles reliably, but otherwise could have access. It's kind of fascinating thinking about. Self-driving cars would give them a whole new level of freedom. Anyway, $5 super chat from JWup saying, where's the video of you two playing the Yang video game? We're going to do that on stream in a day or so, actually. It's got pushed back by about a month because this month's been crazy for me and Cardin, and we haven't had time to get together. And then I played through the game once to unlock all the characters so we could play against each other on stream, and I don't know what happened. All that memory, I had to play through all again, so it got delayed, and by the end of the week, I am going to school Cardin with mostly spacing and heavy kick in Yang 2020.
Dude, but if you give me like 30 minutes to practice before we play, I don't know, dog. I think there's a chance you might get what were you showing me was that championship of like Street Fighter 3 where the guy parried
Evo moment.
Chun-Li,
Chat can help me with
and
that.
then did the combo, and then he was toast. That might just happen, dude. You doing all right over there, pal?
Sorry, guys. My mic keeps falling. But yeah, that was basically it. I think it's the Evo moment number 27. I'm going to feel like an idiot. Evo moment number something famous. But yeah, sorry. We were playing on stream. I apologize. We were supposed to be playing on stream way before that. And just, it was like every time I came in to play, something else came up. Or I was playing off stream to get ready. And then we couldn't stream. And don't know what a Goomba is. I'm out. So, and then I guess we'll touch on this one last thing before we wrap up here. This was the other endorsement. We'll maybe do a longer video on this, but so this is a Massachusetts conservative newspaper. I mean, I took a look at their editorial paper, conservative, better or for worse, just letting you know what kind of publication it is. Even moment, it wasn't actually even moment 37. Do I actually remember that? Holy cow, man. I've spent too much time on the internet. I hope I didn't get the number right. Anyway, it'd actually be cool if I did. But this was the other endorsement. We talked earlier about comedian and actor John Leguizamo, who has endorsed Andrew Yang. Also, though, as I brought up, there's the something Sun. I'm blanking on the name. Lowell Sun paper in Massachusetts has also endorsed Andrew Yang. Again, it's a conservative publication in Massachusetts. However, they've also endorsed Andrew Yang. I thought it was pretty interesting, some of the things they put in here. So we might do a longer video. It's not a super long endorsement, but just talking more about some of the media endorsements Andrew Yang has received. But
he didn't get this prestigious New York Times endorsement?
No, he wasn't.
Because he lacked a Y chromosome?
Well, no, he just doesn't have that magnetic it factor that Amy Klobuchar does. I think that was the problem. He doesn't have that radiating charisma that Amy Klobuchar has. So he didn't have that X factor. They said he should just stick to local New York politics. Woo! But this is what was interesting, and I think it speaks to what Andrew Yang's campaign has been doing the whole time. And they say almost every candidate in the Democratic field has in one way or another contributed to the societal condition. I believe talking about cancel culture in particular. Political correctness. There we go. Do they actually? Yeah, they use cancel culture. As long as I brought it up. There was a quote they used. And they say that either as a matter of principle or in an effort to pander to the most radical elements of the party. There's one exception to this, and his name is Andrew Yang. Yang does not speak negatively about Americans, regardless of their beliefs in politics. And I think that's a really awesome way of wording why there is, because I see this argument all the time in the Andrew Yang camp. A lot of op-eds get written on the other end of this saying that Andrew Yang should be bigger in kind of like grievance politics to a certain extent, even not necessarily only in being more like socially aware, but like grievance stuff. And I think it's an interesting way, and it kind of explains the way I look at it, is that if you're running to be president of America, try to do your best to not have denigrating thoughts and words about Americans. I get there's some Americans in this country that, woof, you know what I mean? We don't love all of them, but still, I think just running for president of a country, the less bad you're speaking about the citizens, the better. The more I like you, at least. I don't care. Because I guess
that was what cost Hillary in the deplorables comment.
Yeah, because I think some people just saw them as Americans. Like, you're just talking
why
bad
do you
about
have to dog the other 50%.
Just anyone who lives in the country. Why are you making fun of anyone who lives in this country? We all live in the country together. I think that was definitely, like I said, I think that comes from, though, living in a very particular hyper-partisan bubble that our politicians and media class live in, that we don't.
Yeah.
Like, now what's scary is the way that social media has trickled that hyper-partisanship down, but it's also worth keeping in mind. Remember, like Nancy Pelosi, and maybe like in the last 6 months because of impeachment, but like by and large, these people will fight with each other on TV, but they're still going to go to the same bars and have drinks together. Like it's gotten to the point where like citizens hate each other more than actual senators do now, which should not be the way it is, but I don't know.
Hey, before we end here, because we got only 7 minutes left, can I give, not anecdotal, but can I give photographic evidence as to why caucusing could help Andrew Yang? I sent you in Discord. I downloaded the picture that Scott Santens had posted of his mock caucus, all right? Now, this is a little bit more sparsely attended, obviously, than other caucuses I've been to. Or is it caucus I've been to? I don't know if it's a Greek word, which would therefore, in the multiple, have two I's. In the plural, sorry, or if it's caucuses, but I'm operating under the assumption that it's caucuses. But anyway, if you can pull up that picture, you'll notice here, look at the number of the people in the room, and here right in front is where all the math hats are. So you have to assume that Scott Santons himself is holding the camera, and we count them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 people that are right in front of the camera, which are I assume the about 20 that he said ended up caucusing for Andrew Yang. And you can see in the other corners where probably the Buttigieg people are, which ended up being viable, I assume, over there. The Sanders people, which is probably the biggest chunk, which they said had about 30. And then who was the other person? It was Sanders, Buttigieg, Yang, and who was the fourth one he said that ended up being viable? Warren. Yes, Warren, of course. The biggest liars usually are. So anyway.
How could you forget about Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah. Well, if you look at this, look at the camps. The biggest camp has 30. The smallest camp has 20. Okay? Which means there's probably only about 150 people in that room. Which means if you're within a 30-mile or 60-mile or 100-mile radius, that's only a 2.5-hour drive. Well, depending on how you drive.
It's also a mock caucus, though.
And I know it's a mock caucus, But there's going to be plenty of caucusing sites in Iowa that actually look a lot like this and have the same attendance as that. Like maybe not the one in the middle of Des Moines, right next to the University of Des Moines and the community college, where all of the poli-sci interns are getting extra credit for showing up. But I guarantee you there's one in Springville, Iowa, that looks kind of like that. And you want to know what? If you got 5 or 6 roommates that are all down with Andrew Yang, with another 5 or 6 roommates, because you have a cool frat house or something like that you live in, or if you got a bunch of enthusiastic people that wouldn't mind going and having a cultural experience, and you drag them over there, man, you literally just created half of what could become a viable delegation, a viable delegates group in one of these caucusing sites. And that's the other thing that's beautiful about caucusing, is a small amount of people can make a big difference because you have to be motivated. You know what I'm saying? You have to be motivated, not just to go click or to fill in a box on a throw-in ballot. You got to be motivated to get off your duff and go there. And that's what I think is awesome. If you're willing to get up and do phone baking at somebody else's house, you can go to a caucus site. If you're willing to get up and go do overpass banking, like they call it in California, where they put up all their signs and they cheer, then you actually literally could swing a delegate. You know what I'm saying? Where the pedal actually meets the metal and the rubber actually meets the road. So this picture here is just proof of exactly how these things go, and how by simply showing up and cheering and being willing to put up with other Democrats for 3 hours, you know what I'm saying? You could actually make a difference. It's called civic engagement, people. We need it on both sides of the aisle. It's a beautiful thing. So anyway, that's all I got to say, Cody. We got 3 minutes before we finish, my man. 3 minutes. So everybody make sure, if you got any super chats in your system, get them out of your system right now. Any last questions, hit us before we get out of here, because we're going to be responsible and on time today.
Yes. And I think a lot of you said right. I think the Yang's there's energy behind Yang. I don't know. I've not seen enough the transition. How much do these mock caucuses look like real caucuses, right? But yeah, if that's what we expect transitioning over, it should be good for Yang. And again, like with the Yang member in Iowa, he doesn't have to win the state outright. Get a few delegates, and holy cow, man, that's already a big surprise. So I think that's the other thing here as well. And people, I don't think Bernie's going to do well in Iowa. I really don't.
Really?
I think what we're seeing, it is still, the polls showed a bigger dip than I think there was. I think Buttigieg is still going to do really well in Iowa, and I think it won't be Biden. I think it might be the only state, like this could be one of those instances where Buttigieg wins Iowa, and that's the only state he wins. But I don't know. I just see something weird happening in Iowa, because Iowa's got Iowa. The other thing that's kind of unfortunate about Iowa as well to keep in mind, like you have candidates like Andrew Yang has been in Iowa relentless. Like the focus on Iowa is not going to be as endemic of the focus nationally from people. That being said, Andrew Yang is already doing well in major population centers like Los Angeles and New York, more so than he is in less popular areas. So there's so many, like everything, there's a lot of really complicated variables. Hey, well, it's almost like these things are tough to figure out, and there's a reason why everyone gets them wrong. But I also don't think Andrew Yang has to do more than win a few delegates, and I don't think he will run foul, or he won't. I think all he needs to do is secure a few delegates, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do, is all I'm trying to say. And then we have a super chat from Sage Hooper, $2, says, good stream. Thank you very much. Thank you for hanging out with us. Seriously, anyone who's hung out with us for any portion of time tonight, thank you guys very much. It's always a lot of fun, and we always really enjoy just spending time with you guys a couple nights a week, talking about a couple of the things going on.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know what you guys think.
Oh, one more thing. I want to talk about this.
Yeah?
I know you don't care about this, but someone said, why did they make this the day after the Super Bowl?
Because that's what they do.
But I almost wonder, you know what? Iowa should be okay Iowa should be okay in turnout. There's no Midwest team. Because I know Iowa doesn't have a professional team for football. They obviously some college teams. There's no professional Iowa team. If anyone lives in Iowa, what is the NFL team Iowa people watch? Is it Green Bay? Are they mostly Green Bay fans, or is it? I don't know. Either way, with Kansas City,
they're too busy getting spoiled by the political elites.
Yeah.
They probably don't even watch football.
Yeah, but we have Missouri versus Northern California, so
yeah. I'm
not gonna lie, man. If for example, if there was a caucus in Missouri the day after the Super Bowl, there'd be lower attendance than normal, man. Like you know what I mean? If there was a caucus in
people
San
would be too tired.
Yeah, they'd be tired. Yes, that's the word. Just so sleepy, so sleepy from the excitement. But yeah, I mean that's. And someone said, "Oh, can Bloomberg?" So $5 super chat. Ryan Marquette. Can Bloomberg even get delegates from the caucus? Is he on the ballot there?
Nope.
Yeah, he literally.
Well, actually, he could get them from the caucus as a write-in.
Yeah, as undeclared.
Like, he would literally need so many enthusiastic people to show up and chant for him that not only did they win over one of, like, all of the non-viable candidates, meaning people that had less than 15%, but you can only slip about 5 15s into 100%. So even if they were just all spread perfectly evenly, you could only have a max of 5. Usually these things end up with a front runner and then 3 smaller candidates, okay? So there's really, he would have to overtake the 5th place person, all of the non-viables, and have so many enthusiastic supporters in a state that he's done nothing to gain support in, show up and then out-caucus all the other groups and be just as crazy as Buttigieg and the Yang Gang and the Bernie people. So I really don't see that happening. Cody.
Okay, I have to show my, God, I hate making it true, American geography. Kansas City is indeed mere hours from the state of Iowa. So maybe we will see some sleepy people showing up with these Iowa caucuses, because I have to imagine. Now, people have pointed out, I did think that they were more fans of because I just feel like I am a little bit right. I think more of the populated parts of Iowa is the more northern part than the southern. Now it's dead center. So I'm just a moron. Anyway, I couldn't let myself get away with being that bad on geography. The classic American geography lel meme came true. But yeah, that could put a small wrinkle. Also, I wonder if I would also say though that it's, call me crazy, but I feel like it's more of the Biden Buttigieg crowd that's really gonna be super excited about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Than the Yang crowd. I think the Yang crowd's a little more younger, more.
The Yang Gang crowd's more erudite. They don't need these Neanderthals bumping their skulls together and grunting, calling it sport when it's just theater. Anyway, I'm just kidding, by the way. I don't need any hate mail about all you fantasy football players out there. I'm just kidding. So anyway, guys, if you've given us $20 super chats and you deserve a hat or 2 of your 10s or whatever it was, make sure that you send us your address so we can send you your hat. We've marked down everybody that gave us all of the super chats, so make sure that you send us what your username is and what your real name is so we actually can match the 2 together and check it off of our box. That includes you, Mr. Percy, you forgot last time. Thank you so much for everybody that gave us super chats. Thank you to everybody that's participated today. Thank you everybody who's been opining. Make sure you like and share if you can. Follow us on at PSP Radio 1 on Twitter. Once again, on Twitter, we're at PSP Radio 1 or Problem Solver Politics on Instagram. If you want to send us an email, it's at problemsolverpolitics@gmail.com. And make sure you check out our videos that we post daily, usually once in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon as well. And hang out with us again Mondays and Thursdays. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you in the next video.